It is going, and I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see? Thumbs up? Yeah? We all good to go? And I'm going to take this down to speaker view so we're not taking up the whole screen on your side.
Okay. All right, these are the materials that you need to have ready. You need a tape runner or double-sided tape. You need some type of liquid glue. This is just old regular Elmer's. But if you have a glue pen, some of you in your supply kit might have a glue pen. That would work. This is like top of the line, but we can use Elmer's if that's what you have. The toothpick is to be used with the Elmer's because we're going to use precision glue. And so we don't want to have big globs of glue. So we're going to use the toothpick to get just a little bit. And then a pair of scissors. And if you have a bone folder, if you don't have a bone folder, then you can just use your fingers to crease your paper, okay? All right, so I'm gonna set these things over to the side. And in your large bag, you have 3 little bags. And the first little bag has some little wreath pieces. We're gonna take that bag. We don't wanna open the other 2 bags. We just wanna open 1 bag at a time because they contain little pieces. I'm gonna go over the contents of the bag with you, and then we'll put the card together. So you should have 2 of these green wreaths, a piece of ribbon. You should have in there somewhere a glue dot. I have 2 of them here, but you should have 1. A white square, a green square, the sentiment for our card, and I have that upside down. And then you should have a piece of pattern paper and the card base. Now your card base is not folded. Your card base is like this. We want to go ahead and fold that. And what I want you to notice when you fold it is that this card has been embossed already. So it's kind of hard to see. You'll be able to see it on yours really well. But I want this part that is, we've talked about in class, emboss and deboss. Emboss means that the image stands out. This image is dunking down in, that's debossed. I want the debossed on the top. Okay, so when you fold it, the emboss is inside the card. The debossed side is on the top. Okay, are there any questions about that before we start? Everyone's okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there's Connie Lawson. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do then is if you have that deboss, we can fold this. This has already been scored. So I put this on my, this is my scoreboard. We've used these in class. And I have put my paper at 1.5 and I scored that, okay? So I have this debossed side on the top. I'm going to fold that on that score line. So now the embossed, or the side that's up, is on the top. And the reason we did that was to create some texture on the card so it doesn't look plain. I could have just as easily put a piece of pattern paper there, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to use something different. This is a border embossing folder. In class, many times we have used an embossing folder like this one. This accommodates a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is just for a border. And so I put that on my paper and I ran that through the machine, through an embossing machine, die cutting machine, and it embossed it for me. And so all that does, as I said, was just to add a little bit of texture so it doesn't look so plain, okay? All right, so I'm going to use my bone folder. I have all my supplies out. I'm going to move those over here to the side for a moment. And I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm just going to burnish that edge just so it'll lie flat. And then I'm also going to burnish the edge of my card, and then it'll lie much flatter. Now, as I'm looking at it, it will open like a book, okay? Now, I'm going to take my piece of patterned paper and I'm going to put that on the inside. That is going to go right here, okay? So we're going to take our tape runner. And anybody have a question? Is everyone's audio on so we know if they're?
I think they're all there.
They're all quiet.
Can you hear me? I'm calling.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to place that patterned paper inside the card. Now there will be a little bit of an edge all the way around. We can see that red all the way around the card. So when we close it, this is what it's going to look like then. Going to have the pattern, and you have this real pretty embossing on the top. Okay. All right. If I start going too fast, someone just speak up and say, "Whoa, whoa, Nellie." Okay. Now we're going to take our squares. So we have a green square and a white square, and we're going to first put the white square onto the green square. Use some tape runner. And we're going to put the white one. And again, there's going to be a little bit of a border all the way around. Just like so. Just like that. And then we're just going to set that over to the side with our card. All right. The next thing you need to have are your 2 wreaths. So the reason that I cut 2 of these, I cut one and I put it on my card and it looked really thin, kind of naked. And so I thought, well, I'll take one and I'll put one on top of the other, and it makes it look fuller, makes it look like a real Christmas wreath. Notice that I don't put them identically one on top of the other. Instead, I'm going to offset. So I'm going to put one going this way, and on this one I have the stem going the other way. And there's Lisa. Hey. And I'm going to glue them together. Now, this is where the precision glue comes in handy. If you have a glue pen, then that will work. But if you don't, I'm going to use the liquid glue and the toothpick and show you how to do that. Now, when we use liquid glue, remember liquid glue is not for everything. We use our tape runner to put most of our card together. The liquid glue we use very sparingly, and we only want to use it in certain places. So I'm going to find, if you've got like a little scrap of paper or a napkin, I know the ladies there have been eating, have a napkin. Just something that you can, I'm going to put just a little bit of this liquid glue, just a drop, on that piece of paper. And I know with the camera, it's not really picking that up. It's white on white, but there's just a little dot of glue on there. Then I'm going to use my toothpick and I'm going to pick up just a little bit of glue. And there it is. You can see it on my toothpick. Okay, when I say a small amount, that's very small because our lines on our die cut are very small. That's why if you want to invest in tools, a glue pen is a good investment. So we're going to apply some of this liquid glue only to one of these. We've taken one of them and I've flipped it over and I'm putting it on the back side. It doesn't really matter which one is the back and which one is the front. And you're just going to apply a little bit of this glue sparingly around. Everybody okay?
Yep, good.
Okay, so just little dots. Liquid glue can be your friend and it can be your enemy, especially if you're using the liquid mono glue. It's very sticky. All right, that's probably enough. Then I'm just going to stick this one over top of this one. And they're not going to line up because they're going opposite directions. And we don't want them to line up because we're trying to get them to look fuller than what they were when they started out. So I'm just going to kind of rub along that and make sure they're sticking together. And there we go. So now you'll see there's glue on the back, but that's okay because we're going to add some more glue on the back now. So we've turned it over and we're going to put some more glue on the back. Again, sparingly. We don't want it to, the problem with liquid glue, especially one that remains sticky, is that if it remains sticky, then when you put your card in your envelope, then the recipient can't get it out of the envelope. Not helpful. Okay, and then my wreath goes on top of my square. Now the square, I want to put, there's going to be a bow. Here's what my finished card is going to look like on the front. And you can see I'm going to place a bow up here at the top. So I like to use this to put my bow on. I'm going to position that up at the top. And you can even take your scissors if you don't like the other stem. If you've got a stem at the bottom and you don't like it, you can snip that stem off. And then just kind of make sure it's stuck down there, nice and flat. We do this part separately because here in a minute we're going to put a bow on it. We want it to be able to attach it to the card. Ooh, I'm shaking. It's an earthquake. All right. So I have my wreath attached to the white. I'm going to flip that over. I am only putting adhesive in the center because it's only going to, if you see on here, I don't want to put any here, and I don't want to put any here because it's going to, it'll stick together. We don't want that. So we're going to run one line of adhesive, maybe two lines, down the center of the green square. And we're going to adhere that right in the middle. Now, don't judge the middle of the card. You're going to put it in the middle of this strip, okay? So you may have a little bit more over here, a little bit less over here, and a little bit more over here, but that's not, visually we want it to be in the middle of the strip. And press that down. All right. And there's your fold, okay? Just like so. All right, let's open up. Anybody have a question before I open up and do the inside? Okay. You should have a strip with your sentiment. And I went ahead and I stamped that with Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If you don't like that, you can turn it over and put that inside your card, and then you can stamp whatever you like on it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place that on this side. Now, you'll want to make sure when you place it, I'm going to go ahead and put a little, move my glue out of the way here. I'm going to put the tape runner all the way around. And I want the top of this white panel and the top of my pattern paper to be the same, to line up. So I'm going to have a little bit of a border around. I can see the score lines, but I want the top and the bottom to line up. This is, it looks more professional if it lines up and everything is nice and square. Now, if it bothers you that that's popping up like that, you can turn it over and put just a little dot of adhesive, and then that way it won't flip up and down. It depends on, you know, what you like. You know, it really doesn't matter. It's going to lay down when it's in the envelope, but if it bothers you, you can just put a little bit of adhesive behind it. All right, then we're going to take our ribbon. This is the last thing, and we're going to tie a bow. So those of you that have been in class know I do bunny ears. So I take the two and I crisscross. I put one through the hole. You know, some people are better bow makers than others. Some people enjoy it, other people don't. Other people ask someone else to do it. Whatever, you know, whatever works. And then you have that glue dot. Hopefully I haven't been too stingy with the ribbon and you can tie that small piece. Now I'm going to kind of roll that glue dot over on itself a little bit so it's not so big. And then I'm going to put it on the back side of my ribbon right there on the knot. And I'm going to kind of scratch it with my thumbnail, and that'll help it release from the paper, just like that. It's super sticky, super sticky. Jessica's laughing at me over here. And we're going to stick it down, okay? And that is card number 1. All finished. All you'll need to do is sign it and put it in the mail and send it off. I heard they're saying that if we don't have our Christmas mail by December 9th, it won't get there. So things are, all right, so that is card number 1. Anybody have any questions? How's everyone doing? Hold up your card if you're, oh, very good. Look at all the cards. Very good. Connie's opens, very good. Yeah, there's Brenna's up high. Very good. All right, the second one we're going to do, I'm going to lay out the supplies. You should have a cream colored card this time, and it is just flat. You can go ahead and fold that in half. Okay. You should have a scallop circle, a circle stamped with Happy Holidays, and then you'll have some squares. You have some different patterns. Now, these are double-sided papers, so if you like one side better than the other, then you choose the side that you like. I'm just going to kind of pick out a couple here. What am I missing? There we go. All right, so these were the 4 patterns that I used. But again, if you want to flip them and use the other side, that's up to you. And then you should have a strip And then you should have the cranberry color, a green square, and a cream square. All right, so once you have everything laid out there, cap my glue, then we're going to start with the card and the red mat first. So I'm going to move this back here out of the way, my little squares. Remember what side you're going to use. Okay. We're going to go ahead and apply some adhesive to the back of this piece. This is going to go on the front of our card. Okay. Again, you're going to have a border all the way around. Like that. All right. Now we're going to create a pennant to go here, to go on our card. And I want it to have, some people call it a pennant end, some people call it a ribbon end, but you're going to, the easiest way that I know to do it is to cut up in the center. Other people, instead of cutting in the center, they actually fold it. Some people may find it easier doing it this way. Now, you're not folding the whole strip in half because, of course, that's going to crease your paper, but just fold the end of it, and then you're going to cut from the outside. Nope, that's backward. See, that's why I don't do it. You cut from the folded side to the point. Now, again, I'm cutting on the folded side to the point, taking off maybe a ½ inch. There you see how much that is. We're learning how to get this camera to focus. Okay, and then when I open it back up, I have that end, almost like a snake's tongue. All right, and then that's going to go on my card. Now, it's too long. I want it to be about there. So I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to trim off this part that sticks over. Be careful, don't cut your card, but just trim it to fit. Now, on this card, I have it going all the way up to the top. On my sample, I have it down here. It's up to you. If you want to bring it all the way up or right there, that's up to you. So I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to line it up with the red. I want to center it. You start at the top and then look on both sides, see if you're centered. And there you go. All centered up on there. Then I want to take my squares. I want to bring those over. I want to take the cream square. That square is going to go right here. Now, it sticks over just a wee little bit on both sides of the red. And I want to bring it up a little bit. I want it not to be all the way down here. So I want to be midway, but centered. Let's say centered of that green strip. So I'll put some adhesive on the back. Okay. And again, we're centering. And my point's lining up with the point down here. And these stick over a little bit on the sides. Just like that. Okay. This square is going to be placed like that, almost like a quilt square, like a star. Is that a star, Jessica, in quilting? Quilting is not one of my hobbies, not yet. Don't have enough time in my life right now for another hobby, but maybe later. Okay, so again, this one is going to go right in the center again. You kind of eyeball it. I put it down, but I don't press it until I have it right where I want it. And on both sides. And then once you've got it right where you want it, we're going to press it down. Then we're going to arrange our squares. And again, you arrange them using the sides that you want. And I'm going to have them placed like so. You want to just move them around until you want to have equal space between, look at your sides. You want to have a little space between them. I mean, if you're really OCD, this card could take a while. But when you've got them where you want them, then you're going to adhere them into place. If you do them one at a time, you'll probably be much happier. Everybody out there good? Everybody all right? Anybody questions? Concerns? Good. In class, that's either a good thing or a bad thing. I'll see what everybody's doing. All right. Make sure the card opens the right way. Okay. And put that last one down on there. And you have, looks like a little quilt block. Now, one thing I did not tell everyone to have today were foam adhesive dots. If you have your supplies there with you and you want to pop dot this next part, you can get you a foam adhesive square or dot. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. It's not going to make any difference in the look of the card. All right. So we're going to apply. You should have a circle that says Happy Holidays and a scallop circle. We're going to apply the adhesive to the back of the circle, then onto the scallop circle. And then if you have pop dots or foam dots, you want to put them here. Now, I'm not going to do that because I didn't bring any with me because not everyone has them. So I'm just going to use regular adhesive, but if you have pop dots, put them right here. Okay. Then bring that over and put it in the center of your square, just like that. And then you can see there are the two cards. This one has a pop dot and this one does not. And from this vantage point, you really can't tell the difference, can you, Jessica? So that turned out really cute. And now this one doesn't have any sentiment in it, so you can put your own sentiment in or write a note, put your Christmas letter inside that one. All right. Now, this next card has several little pieces, and by little, I mean little bitty pieces. So when you start getting your supplies out, before you say you're missing something, look inside your bag, look between your pieces of paper, because there are little tiny pieces. And I'm going to put them all out here in front of me, and you can double check and make sure that you have everything. One of my favorite techniques is paper piecing. And so So this is a paper pieced, or no, I shouldn't say paper piece. Well, it is paper piecing, but it's punch art. So we're using punches to create shapes that we will then turn into something else. Okay, so we have, this is shimmery white. That doesn't really show on the camera. The inside is plain matte white. There's no shimmer on the inside of the card. The outside is the shimmer. So when you fold, make sure that you have that shimmer on the outside, okay? Then you have a piece that's been embossed, and you can see that shows up. There it is, right there. So that's been embossed using this embossing folder and the Cuddle Bug. You have one of that size. You have one that's embossed a little strip, that one there. You have a pink, oops. You have a pink strip, a red strip, red triangle. This has some adhesive already on the back for you. 2 large white circles that have been embossed. There's the embossing. These, I believe, are 1-inch circles, and they've been embossed. Kind of hard to see those against the, okay. These are plain matte white circles. I have a pink circle that I have punched this, and then I took a little sliver off using one of my punches. And then I have 2 blue dots. And here we go, tiny, tiny. 2 little black circles. Now, the miracle will be if everybody has all of them.
No, Evonne, I'm missing,
Yes.
I'm missing the red strip.
Okay, is anyone else missing a red strip? Lisa?
Debbie, I'm missing a red strip.
Does anybody have a red strip? Okay, so, okay. What we're going to do, if you're missing the red strip, I think we can make it, we're gonna make it work regardless whether you have the red strip or not. It'll look a little different, but it'll still work. Lisa, what was your question? There you are.
2 of the large embossed circles.
You have 1 or 2?
1.
Okay. Oh, everybody only needs 1. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You
okay.
should only have 1 of the large.
Okay.
I'm sorry, there was an extra one in my bag. Sorry about that. Everybody else good? We're gonna work, I'm gonna show you how to do it whether you have the red strip or you don't. So we'll make it work, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do to begin, this is what we're making. So I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you so that as we're putting it together, it'll make sense in your mind. So this is what we're making. This is our Santa, okay? So now if you don't have a red strip, then yours won't have this little bitty red up here at the top. Yours will have, instead of being red right here, it'll be white. This piece will be at the very top. So I'll show you in here in a second and you'll get that, okay? All right, so now, if you have a red strip, if you don't, do nothing. But if you have a red strip, we're gonna begin by putting that at the very top of the card. Again, if you don't have one, don't do anything. Okay. Okay, now if you do not have a red strip, then this is what you're going to do. You're going to take the white one and you're going to put it at the very top. of the card. Okay? Now, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to turn mine back over and put it the other way, but can you see that there it is. That's the embossed strip, okay? So if you have a red one, you put your red one at the top. If you do not, you put your white one at the top. It's going to work either way. We're going to make it work, okay? Now, if you have a red strip, your white one is going to go over top of that red one about halfway. You're going to cover half. I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so I'm going to go halfway up and I'm going to put that white strip. Okay. So I only have, if that's an inch wide, now I only have half an inch here. So I've covered up half of it. And again, it's that embossed strip. There it is. You can see the embossing. All right. Now, if you don't have the red, all you have is that white piece right across the top of your card. You're not going to worry about the red strip. Okay. So you got the red one, you got the white one, you got the red one if you have it. Then you're going to put adhesive on the pink strip. And we're going to butt, it doesn't tuck under, it's just going to butt up against the white one. Just like that. We're not tucking under, just butt up against it. So that should be flat on your card.
Evonne, is that right under the white strip?
Yes, right under it, butts right up against it. So if you don't have this red, this is what yours looks like right now. And that's fine, it'll work just fine. And then the last piece we're gonna put is this larger piece of embossed paper. Now, if you don't have a red piece, then you're just going to butt the white one against the pink one. Again, if you do not have a red piece, then you butt the white one against the pink one. If you have a red strip like I do, then you're going to have to lift that up a little bit and make sure that it is flush with the bottom of your card. Okay, it's going to overlap the pink just a little bit if you have a red strip. Everybody okay? That's good. Okay. So again, I'm overlapping because I have a red strip. I'm flush with the bottom of my card, and I should be flush on the sides too. It should measure exactly 4 1/4, the width of my card. Okay. Now I've got all my little pieces down here in front of me. I'm going to move them up here. I can see them. So I know they're not sticking to my arm or they're in my lap. Okay, I have a red triangle and it has a little piece of adhesive already on it. Either with your fingernail or with your bone folder, burnish that a little bit. Just rub it so we can get the paper to release easier. And you're going to just put your thumb or your fingernail underneath the edge and you'll pull it up. It's like red line, except there's white line instead of red line. Now, there's my sticky strip right there. This is going to go into the left-hand corner. So I have the sticky strip. it's going to go at the top of my card. Doesn't matter if I have a red strip or a white strip at the top. I'm going to make sure it's flush in the corner and lay it down. Now that's really sticky tape, so once you lay it down, it's down. Then you're going to fold it, and you'll notice, look here, this pops up. So we want it to have a little bit of dimension. It's the tassel on his hat. So you can see here, even after I put the little ball on it, it's still gonna be floppy. Okay. Then I'm gonna use one of my circles that's embossed. There is the embossing. I'm gonna put a little bit of, let's just use, I tell you what, let's use a little bit of liquid glue if you have any left on your piece of paper. It might be better to put a little glue here. If you put adhesive on the back of the circle, it's just going to stick to the card and it's not going to be very 3D. It's not going to stick up. So I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue there, and then I can stick the ball to the hat. I don't want it to stick over too much on the side, or I'm not going to be able to close it in my envelope when I send it. So if it sticks over a tiny bit, that's fine. But I want it, you see how it's, you know, it's not completely flat. Oh, there you go. Got some dimension there. That's what we want. Next step. Everybody okay right now? Everybody with me? I sure hate that I can't look across the table and see each of your faces and know that you're ready to go. It's an adjustment. Okay, big circle. Take your big circle. This is the big embossed circle. And we're going to simply cut it in half. Just like so. These are Santa's, this is his beard. So I'm going to put my finished one next to my one I'm working on here. Okay, so I'm going to put his beard like so. Some of it's going to tuck up underneath his hat like that. And part of it's, I want to have a space between them. There's this like a finger-sized space between the left side of his beard and the right side. I don't want to have it way up in the air because I'm going to take his nose, and his nose is going to go right there. So that's about where it needs to go. You can see about how high. I can show you underneath that one. There you go. And you can see I'm about the same height on this side as I am on this side. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive. If you have pop dots, you can put a pop dot on your nose. So if you have those and you want to use one, we're just using regular adhesive on the beard. And then if you have pop dots, you can pop dot his nose. And it's going to go, we want it to straddle the pink and the white right in the center there. Okay. Then you can position his eyes. So the white is the background of the eye. And I'm going to put it together to show you what it looks like. And then, and I just realized do all of you have two pink circles?
No.
I just realized I don't have circles. Let's see. If I do it like this. Well, I think we might make it work like that anyway. Okay. Maybe I didn't put them in there. Does anyone have pink circles in their bag?
Have one.
One.
Okay. If you have a pink circle in your bag, we're going to use it. If you don't have one, then we're just going to not worry about it. Okay. If you have a pink circle in your bag, I want you to cut it in half. Okay. And I'm going to make one for demonstration purposes. If we were in class together, I would just come over and punch you one and you'd be good to go. But unfortunately, I can't do that. So, so I've taken the pink one and I just cut it in half. If you don't have a pink one, then we're gonna work with it. So you can either leave them off and I can get them to you, or you can, a few of you I'm gonna see here in a few minutes again, and I can give you one then, if you just wanna leave off your eyelids. So the white, position those where you want them to go. And then we're gonna put adhesive on the back of them. Now you want them kind of close together, because otherwise you're going to lose one under the hat. One of our eyebrows is going to be a little bit under the hat. You don't want to lose your eyes under there. Okay, so the white one goes first. Okay, and then the blue one. We'll put the blue one next. Now the blue one, we don't want to put it dead in the center, because then it makes it look like he's kind of staring into space. You want to bring the blue down a little bit, closer to the bottom of the white than in the center. That doesn't look very natural to have him right in the center. Unless he's been drinking too much eggnog and he's a little glassy-eyed. Okay. I'm sure they're making comments about me with their with their speakers off. Or Santa hitting the eggnog. Okay, then I'm going to use a little bit of the liquid glue on my pupils here. Okay. And then you can use that toothpick for a pickup. Now notice I'm doing the same thing here. I'm not putting them dead in the center. I'm putting them down toward the base or the bottom of the circle, rather than right in the center. And then you can use the toothpick like a little pickup stick. Pick that up and position it. You can kind of have him looking down or looking to the side, or cross-eyed, you know, whatever you like. Now, if you have the two half circles, then you're going to glue them on top of the white circle to create eyelids. Now, like I said, if I'm going to be seeing you here in a few minutes, I will bring you some eyelids. So you don't have to glue you're not going to do your eyebrows until after you do your eyelids. Okay, so put a little bit of glue on your eyelid. And it goes right over top of the white circle. They are the same size circle. The pink and the white are the same size. Okay, so there's his eye. Here's one without the eyelid and one with the eyelid. A little bit of liquid glue on the other eyelid. And right on the top. My Santa's looking a little skeptical. Not sure if this woman's gonna be, if she's been naughty or nice. All right, there he is. Now, we should have one embossed circle left, unless I've gypped you out of an embossed circle. Okay, we're gonna cut that one in half. Okay, now I want you to think lima bean or jelly bean, kind of that bean shape. So to make the bean shape, we're gonna take off I'm gonna take off that corner there, and I'm gonna kind of go up in the center and back down. I'm creating a little bean shape out of that. You can kind of play with it. Be careful because, you know, after you cut, you can't put it back. Just make like a little bean shaped eyebrow. And those, you're gonna make 2 of them. And those are going to go over top of your eyelids there. A little bit of glue. I'm going to glue those over. Now again, don't put your eyebrows on if you need me to bring you some eyelids here in a little bit. Then your eyelids, or your eyebrow, will go up above your eyelid. If I block off a little bit of the light, then you can see it a little bit better. So you see it there? Okay, so then I'm gonna make a bean shape out of the other one. Any of you can do this better than I can. Oh yeah, looky there. Ooh. Being interrogated. He's got one eyebrow up. He's suspicious. And there's the other eyebrow. Isn't he cute? For some people, the punch art is it's not the favorite of everybody. It's a little time consuming, but it usually makes for a really cute card, especially for a child. So now on this other one, the only difference between the two, and I didn't have a way to put this in everybody's bag as a supply. I probably could have drawn them on there ahead of time. That's something to think about next time. But all I did here, I used a white chalk. You could use a chalk marker or a white gel pen. This is actually a white gel pen. And I marked a little bit of, a little bit of gleam in his eye. And then this is the one I made just now without the gleam. Now I can add that. And that's our 3 cards. So we have 3, I'll put this back up here. We have 3 different cards. And we were at 3 o'clock. So yeah, under an hour. That was, we were shooting to go on to be at an hour. How do all of you feel about the time? Was everyone able to finish? Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent, very good. Yeah, because normally in our in-person classes, you're doing everything. You're punching, you're stamping, coloring. So it's an hour to put everything together, I think is very good. And you all know, you know what you're doing. And so it was easy enough to put together. I will be sending out an email with just a couple questions. I won't ask any questions here with everybody, but I'll send out an email with a couple questions. If you could answer, just give me a little bit of feedback. I'll also share some of that feedback with Jessica about what you've thought about it. And so maybe we can plan some more in the future. All right. Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
all.
welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Yvonne. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's